Hello and welcome to FPL Daddy. The last few game weeks have been quite bad for us. We've slipped from about 8k to 33k. Having said that, we still have a couple of chips left, and I hope to actually improve on this rank and finish around the 10k mark. I was ambitious about finishing in the top 1k, but I think that's far from realistic right now. And aiming for a top 10k should be a good finish. But you never know, if you have a really good game week and you get about 20 points more than everybody else, things can always work in your favor. So coming to the performance of the team in game week 29, uh, Rudiger, Ben White and Trent, they all did decently well. I was actually keen on getting a Robertson, but I got Trent instead just because I could afford him. But that's actually a nail in the coffin of my team selection in the future game weeks. I'll talk about that in a moment. Coming to the midfield, getting Kulusevski was brilliant. He really did well for us, and the fact that Son didn't really score also helped. So if you actually look here, he's almost had an attacking return in the most games he's played. So he is going nowhere. Rafinha, I think, is on his way out of most managers' teams. He did provide an assist in the Norwich game, but because of his position, playing out wide in comparison to a Dan James being the attacking outlet, I think people are preferring other midfielders in place of Rafinha. One punt which I took, which didn't work out at all, was actually playing James Ward-Prowse. He was in really good form and he was playing Watford at home, and Watford had just got battered the previous game week by they were conceding a lot of goals. So if you see here, they conceded 6 goals in the last 2 games versus Wolves, which doesn't even score many goals, and Arsenal. So I actually expected Southampton to do well at home, but that didn't really happen. And coming to the attack, Harry Kane, again, like you must have heard in the previous video, I was really contemplating between captaining Harry Kane and Mohamed Salah and went for Salah. I think I should just be a little more risky in the fag end of the season now. And Jimenez again didn't really perform that well. I've actually noticed a trend that Jimenez does well when Wolves are playing at home. So if you actually see most of his attacking returns in the previous game weeks, goal at Watford, assist, okay, not here, assist at Leicester, goal at Southampton. So if you just look at his stats, goal at West Ham, goal versus Everton, most of his goals are at home. And he has 2 fixtures against one of the worst defenses in the league, Leeds and Aston Villa. So Aston Villa are a terrible travelling side. They're good at home, but they're not that great travelling. So I would actually back Jimenez to do well in the next 2 game weeks. And he's playing at home, so this is the punt we can take. Heading to the team selection for game week 30, I honestly expect my rank to become better. Though I'm at 30k, I have 9 players for this game week without having made any changes. I have Connor Cody, Kilman and Ben White in defense, Rafinha, Kulusevski and Saka in midfield, and Jimenez and Harry Kane up front. And there's absolutely no doubt regarding the captaincy armband, as it's going to be Harry Kane this game week. You can also go for another Spurs player, say Kulusevski or Son, if you don't have Kane. But apart from, say, the Spurs players, I think Jimenez or maybe even a Lacazette or a Saka would make decent captain choices. But if you ask me, you must have a Spurs asset in your team, and he should be the captain for game week 30. So coming to the transfers, I have 2 plans of transfers which I'm really confused in. So plan 1 is kicking Nick Pope out and James Ward-Prowse out and getting a Ramsdale. Let me just do that. I actually considered getting Begovic in because Pickford is out due to COVID, but then the next game week is in about 2 weeks because of the, I think the FA Cup, or I'm not wrong, maybe the international break, I think, yeah. For 2 weeks there's no, sorry, it's the international break. So for 2 weeks, I think that time frame is enough for Pickford to recover. But let me just pick the other midfielder. I wanted to pick Harvey Barnes because Leicester has really good fixtures. So let's talk about pros and cons of these transfers. Number one, Ramsdale in goal is quite good. I don't really trust Burnley's defense, even if they have a double game week. One of them is against City, so that makes matters even worse. Let me just show that to you in a moment. Here. So Ramsdale is quite good, and Arsenal have been solid at the back, so this makes for a good transfer. And Leicester have really good fixtures, and Harvey Barnes is the most. He's the player with the highest threat going forward right now. And with Jamie Vardy injured, I think Harvey Barnes will be the person to target in your team. I'm not really sure how James Maddison is doing, but I think Harvey Barnes has been better, and he's a sure shot starter, unlike James Maddison, who hasn't been starting every game. And more importantly, Maddison is more expensive. So let us just have a look at the numbers. Yeah, so if you just look here in the last 4 game weeks, Madison's played only once, so that does create some doubt for team selection. In the eyes of the FPL manager. So I think Harvey Barnes is more nailed on. So if we go ahead with this team, I actually have a decent team for the next game week also. But the con of this is that I can't really get Kai Havertz in, and that's somebody I really want to play next game week. So if I really want to do that, I'll have to take out Harvey Barnes and Rafinha for a hit, and I'll have to get Gordon from Everton, and who has a double game week, by the way, and Kai Havertz. So this does work out well, but I'm actually shipping out Rafinha at home versus Southampton. So that's the risk I'm actually taking here. But having said that, Kai Havertz has brilliant fixtures. Chelsea is going to score more goals than Leicester any day. So having somebody like a Kai Havertz is definitely better than having somebody like a Harvey Barnes. So this is what I've been thinking. But the thing is, even if I don't make these changes, I have a decent team for next game week. So I have 4 defenders, and I can play 4-4-2 without Harvey Barnes. And Harvey Barnes only has one bad game versus United. So let's just go and check that. Harvey Barnes. One moment. Here. So even if we rest him for the next game week, we have 4 solid midfielders and 2 really good strikers up front. So this is what I've actually been really confused about. So I will be posting my team on Instagram in a couple of hours, and also on the Twitter handle. But this is where I'm at. If you think I can make better moves, please feel free to comment down below. And thank you so much for following FPL Daddy. And any questions you have regarding your team selections, please feel free to write to me on my Twitter and Instagram handle. It's FPL Daddy everywhere. And most importantly, if you like my content, I would really like you to share my video. I would like you guys to share my video with your peers. So signing out. I hope all of you do well. Goodbye.